What's up everyone, Alex here. This is the AYANEO Geek 1S. You can currently order this on Indiegogo through their campaign, and it is the cheapest model you can get. The Geek 1S with an 800p screen, 18GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. With the early bird price, I got mine for about £550 and I had to pay import tax as it came in of about £120. For what you get, I actually think that's a really decent price, and here is the box it came in. It has some pretty cool logo stuff in there. It's got a whole bunch of manuals, which I did not read. A little metal pick just fell out. You can use that to open up the side of the model. I think that's how you get inside and, you know, take anything in and out that you want. And inside here is just where it is housed. It's nice and firm. It's not gonna, you know, move around. And the only reason I didn't do an unboxing with everything inside is I just wanted to spend some time with this device. This is my first PC handheld, which is funny because I have a channel for handhelds. This is the case. It's actually quite a nice case, but it's pretty big. I think one of the reasons why there's quite a lot of room in there is because the charger that comes with it, the plug itself, is quite heavy and big, and you're going to want to need to carry that around because, you know, a PC handheld is something you're going to have to charge a lot. This is the screen protector that came with it. I currently don't have mine on. The main reason was because it didn't quite fit over all the bezels. I might put it on. And these are just some little caps that came in. They're cute, but I don't think they looked good with the black. And this is the hat, the AYANEO 2 hat that comes with it. So when you order, I think you can still get this when you order now. You get all these freebies, and they're quite nice freebies. One of them is this coffee cup, which I've used a few times. And I've never had one like it. I love it. You make hot coffee and you hold it. It doesn't burn your hand. I'm going to keep using that. I like that cup a lot, actually. So, yeah, nice freebies. And yeah, this is the Geek 1S. So this is my first PC handheld. At the bottom there, you can see a USB connector, the speakers, the SD card. On the sides is where you open it up with the metal pick. And when we get to the top, there is the exhaust vent for the fan. 2 more USB slots, some extra buttons, like a third L&R trigger button, and the volume buttons as well. It's quite heavy as well compared to the Odin here. I haven't used the Odin in a long time. It's really weird holding these two again. You can see the thickness there. The Geek is quite a hefty thing, and it's quite weird going back to the Odin and holding it again. It's so light. And going over to the Retro Pocket 3 Plus here, even smaller, even lighter. I started with the Odin and seemed to got smaller and smaller as we go over to the Miyoo Mini Plus, and now back to the Geek, which is just a hefty device. I think it's something like 660 grams, and I think it's about 10 more grams than the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck's got like some decent handles to hold onto it. So yeah, and the Miyoo Mini Plus, which I've been using a lot recently, actually. I really love that device, and look how tiny it is in comparison. So small. And now I'm using the Geek 1S. So this is my first PC handheld. Anybody that watches my channel knows I have been waiting a long time for the AYANEO Loki, which I cancelled right at the last minute because of this campaign. Basically, for the same price, I could get an even better model with a bigger battery and a better processor. So, yep, having a quick look at AYANEO's software here. So this is where you change your TDP, you change the wattage. That's an important thing to do as you go from different games, because you want to basically preserve as much battery life as possible. So if you're playing something really retro, you use a low wattage. And if you want to go to the max there, which is about 33 watts, you can play some pretty demanding games on this device. It's actually really cool, and the software is a bit odd. So some other people have previewed the 2S and Geek 1S, and the software they're using is like prototype software, which might come in about a month. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that software is like. And you can install some stuff here. One of them here is a fan controller. And I made my own custom profile because I noticed at first the Geek 1S was getting quite hot. And you can see these custom, preset curves that they have here. Or you can have max 100%. At 100%, it's actually quite loud. It gives you a bit of a gust. When you're playing something at a loud volume, you don't notice it as much. But to be honest, if you're doing stuff and it's 100% all the time, that's not a good sign. So I made a custom curve where I was quite happy with the amount it's cooling and the amount the fan is on. So I'm actually quite happy with how the fan sounds compared to how I heard the Loki. Actually, the Loki is really loud apparently. So you can control the RGB here as well around the sticks. There's not as many options as I thought there would be, but there's some to play around with. It's nice, different colors, different effects. I basically gone with this one that just strobes around different colors. And there's a lot of other settings here. You can tweak around the dead zones of the sticks. The buttons I mentioned at the top, the extra buttons you can use as little hotkeys in Windows, which is nice. It actually helps you out with a few things like holding the left one there for Task Manager, but you can interchange those for different things. And yeah, there's some different options there. And on the right here you can see there's these little buttons. So when you press the AYA button underneath the right stick, you can access some of these, and they're just like quick ways of pressing a little option like quickly muting the handheld if you need to. At the top here you can log into your account. I've not needed to do that, so I've not looked into that. And at the top left here, at first you wouldn't know that you can click it, but there's a lot of settings there, and one of the first things you will want to do is go to the language settings, because when you start this device it's all in Chinese, which doesn't help. Well, at least the software is anyway, so you have to go in there and set that to English. But yeah, one of the main reasons you go into this whole software in the first place is to change your TDP. You could change the resolution and stuff, but 800p looks nice. I don't see myself using that software much. For the moment, I'm sticking to all these icons on my desktop here, and if you notice, you can quickly see the kind of things I'm interested in playing. But to start off, we're just gonna have a look at some retro games, because why not? I don't see myself playing many retro games on here, considering I have the other devices which are really nice, like the Odin and the Retro Pocket 3 Plus. I don't really see the need to play retro on here, but I wanted to have a look at some stuff and test them out. So what I have on this device so far is a lot of retro, and then it skips PS1, PS2, and then goes up a generation like PS3, Xbox 360. That's what I'm looking to. And yeah, Sonic looks really nice on here. Because of how I recorded the video, I don't have a great lighting setup, but it does look a lot nicer in person. It's a really good screen, and I believe it's only about half the brightness at the moment, so you can see that I've set up a bunch of hotkeys in Retroarch here. I basically hold the left trigger, and then I set up the right stick to be just all the time stuff. I've never done that before. This sounds so ominous. Okay, so slow motion Genesis music sounds like just foreboding. Yeah, like medieval music or something. Just something terrible has happened. Yeah, so I'm just testing slow motion there. So I'm doing this video a little bit differently. This is basically all B-roll, and I'm recording and commenting over it. So I got a hotkey there to go in and out of full screen, which is super handy actually if you want to get back into Windows without any fuss. And now we're having a look at Super Mario World on the SNES. Yeah, it's a bit weird doing this differently, commentary, because what I usually do is almost kind of like a podcast style where I film myself, where I just play and record. But for this video, for some reason, I wanted to record everything first and then talk over it. N64 games on Retroarch are actually really nice. You can set it up to be in widescreen, so I can't remember the exact resolution. This might be 1280 by 720. It took me a little while to figure this out. I'm not sure why, but seeing these games in widescreen on this big screen is actually really gorgeous. Another thing that's different in these videos I'm doing, like this one, so I've like heavily edited all my footage, so there's actually a lot more gameplay time I had with these games, so this video would have been around 2 hours, but I figure in the future I want to try and cut this down and give you like some more like precise, better footage. Star Fox looks really nice as well. I wanted to mention quickly at this point that I did want to test 3DS emulation, but I was having like some problems. Well, I mean, I could have just simply just had the app open and then just record the 2 screens, but I wanted to try and have it show like the full screen, because I like to stretch the image over the whole screen and have it look really nice. But some of my shortcut keys weren't working. But I wanted to say that 3DS plays magnificently on this. I was playing some Star Fox 64, well no, Star Fox 3D. What's the name of it on the 3DS? But it looked amazing. I remember thinking here that the rumble pack on the N64 was just a crazy rumbling machine, and I missed that thing. Now going over to Dreamcast, so I could have done Dreamcast on Retroarch, but Redream is really good, and I already paid for it on Android, and you have access to like all the high resolution stuff on this app, so I decided to download Redream and test a few games on here. I wanted to have a look at the D-pad for fighting games, and I saw a video recently for the Geek 1S, and they said that they loved it. They said this is the best D-pad on the market. It's amazing for fighting games. But when I tried to do moves on the D-pad, I don't know if it's how I'm holding it or what, but I found it really difficult to play fighting games on that D-pad. It's a nice D-pad, but maybe it's just because I'm not really used to it. I was a lot more comfortable using this stick. These sticks are Hall sensor sticks, I believe, and they are super accurate. They're really nice in that regard. There's a lot of travel to them though, so playing a fighting game like this, if you were to use a stick, you'd have to do very quick movements because there's a lot of area the stick has to travel over. And in the video here, I had to duck the audio because it was crazy loud for some reason. One of the things I worried about when I started this device was starting with Windows with the volume buttons at the top. I had it at 100 and it didn't sound very loud, but it's going to depend on the app, I suppose. Games sound really loud in Redream. Virtua Tennis is an absolute favourite of mine. I didn't play very well when I tested it, but I wanted to have a look at the widescreen. I think it looked amazing, but again, I don't see myself playing the more like retro games on here. But I wanted to show it just so people can see what it's like. I believe this is in about 1080, but remember the screen is in 800p. This is F-Zero on GameCube. This is something I've tested a lot on different devices, so like the Odin and the Retro Pocket, for example. It's really nice on a device like this to boot it up without any... I didn't have to set anything up, really. And it just looks and plays awesome. I'm not sure why I couldn't get it in widescreen though. I'm pretty sure I turned the widescreen hack on, but it's been a while since I've had a look at like GameCube and Wii games, so I just wanted to test the performance on a track I knew that was like quite demanding. Now onto Wii, Super Mario Galaxy 2. I wasn't sure what to test, but Super Mario Galaxy 2 is quite popular, so I had a little run through the first area and the first world, and it ran great. I forgot to map the like Wii movement or whatever to the right stick, so that cursor's just going to be stuck in the middle there. But if I hadn't already like tested and played some of this stuff on like the Odin and the Retro Pocket recently, I'd say this it is well worth like playing on a device like this, because the resolution's fantastic. It's so smooth. There's just so many options with a device like this for what you can play. And now we're on to the stuff I'm more interested in. It's one of the reasons I want a device like this: Xbox emulation and higher. So this is Jet Set Radio Future, and so at this point I wanted to mention there's for a bunch of these emulators I had to do a bit of setup. Some things might not have worked as simply as I wanted them to. So like for example, getting the ROMs here for the Xbox, it needed a certain... Oh, I can't remember the names. This is why otherwise I'd do a guide. There's lots of guides online to find out this sort of stuff. So if you need to have a look at why, say for example, an ISO you got of an Xbox game is not working, then it's quite easy to look online how to get it working. I had troubles with this game though, Panzer Dragoon Orta. It seemed to like run well, but there was seemingly some sound issues, and it was if it was like smooth but playing slowly. So I wasn't really too sure about that. Conker for the Xbox. I never really played Conker, not even on the N64, but I didn't realize they put as much effort as they did on here. You can see I've been changing the TDP up and down, so from Orta I needed to turn it up. With Conker I realized I could turn it down. When you look at the TDP there, underneath you can see a number of the actual wattage is being used. So you can decide right there, like, oh, maybe I should use a higher or lower TDP. And I thought I'd put more playtime into this. I did a whole intro area to get to here earlier on, but yeah, didn't actually show off much Conker. This is now 360 emulation, showing off the GoldenEye remake that never came out, the one that got leaked. And I remember when I was waiting for the Loki, this is something I really wanted to play, and now I finally can, and super cool. I wanted to mention on this emulator, this is Xenia. I think it's Xenia the Canary build, and for GoldenEye it would only work if I opened up the INI file in the Xenia folder and change it to Vulkan. There's basically a line in that file that says GPU equals something in quotes. It's originally set to any. For GoldenEye I had to set it to Vulkan. And if I wanted to play the perfect dark HD game on the 360, I would have to set that back to any. And I'll show in a minute. So I'm going to show Red Dead Redemption, and that would not work very well on Vulkan. But when set to any, it ran fine. But yeah, I definitely think I'm going to play GoldenEye on this. Super nice. I forgot to mention, because I specifically cut a bit of footage where I was aiming for the AK into that little bunker. The sticks are so nice to aim with. I'm usually not a fan of playing FPS games on a controller, but that was some fine-tuned aiming that felt really nice. There's like with the sticks, there's a nice elasticity to it. I can't think of the right word right now, but using the sticks feels good. And by the way, opening up Red Dead Redemption and seeing it run as smooth as this, it might have already compiled some kind of shaders, but it's so nice to see this game running as it is. I can't remember what TDP I set it as. I see like other videos that, other reviewers that do these devices, they'll show all the stats and stuff. I just know that I'm going to need to flick from the TDP. I'm not super into the stats, but
just leave me alone.
I obviously know like what's in these devices and what they mean, but when I look at reviews of all these devices, I actually skip like all the specs part, because I'm already interested. I already know that about these devices. But I think a lot of people, when they look at these devices, they want an experience of like just jumping in and playing, and that's where a Steam Deck works very well, but a Windows device, maybe not so much. We're on Metal Gear Solid 4. This is one that didn't run quite off the bat as I would have liked. So, I'm going to mention this guy on YouTube called the Retro Tech Dad. He's an awesome guy. He does really good reviews. He recently did a whole PlayStation 3 video for the Asus ROG Ally, and I even had a look at that to help me find out how to get this game running a little bit better. I also wanted this game to run at 60 frames. Also, when you play a game like this game, for example, it took ages to install whatever it needed to do, like PPU modules or something. But the result is Metal Gear Solid 4 running at 60 frames, and it's really quite beautiful. I had one other problem here, and that was the dead zones on the sticks feel weird in this emulator. It's not the device. I think I'm gonna have to configure the sticks differently on this emulator, because I could be like holding right, for example, and Snake would just be walking slowly, and it doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure that's easily fixed. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is something I might be interested in playing again. Who knows? I kind of wanted to test Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, but in the next few months, the Metal Gear Solid collection is coming out that includes Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, which will be available for PC. So there's no need to emulate it anymore. You can literally just play those games from PC or handheld PC, so no need to emulate those games anymore. And it's been... Oh, I love the way Snake just dies. There's ragdolls on the floor. But yeah, I think there's been a leak of sorts where Metal Gear Solid 4 might be part of a second Metal Gear Solid collection. Moving on to Switch now. This was one where I was like, I'm not sure what I should show, because in recent memory, with devices like this and certain games, maybe it's not wise to show a Nintendo video. But playing a game like this made me realize something, and that is, everybody wants a new Nintendo Switch. We want more power. We want a stronger device. But like, unless there's like some real innovation in the hardware, a Switch 2 could be heavy. And playing the Geek 1S for a long time can really sort of tire your fingers out because of what you're holding for so long. I think this device is kind of heavy for what it is. I'm actually considering getting some kind of grip tape to just help not have to like squeeze a bit to hold it, you know, so just the grip tape will do a little bit of the work. But I can totally imagine like Nintendo thinking about designing a Switch 2 and going, well, we have the power, but the device is heavy, man. Like, if I was Nintendo, I wouldn't release if I was releasing a sequel to the Switch, it would have to... It couldn't be, like, twice as heavy, for example. I don't think that would cut it. I think people would be annoyed at that. It's not like going from a PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, because the PlayStation 5 is a big boy, you know? Anyway, this is Metroid Prime, the remake on the Switch, and this just runs great. I think I had one accidental crash, but I think that might have been a Yuzu problem. But this game just ran like smooth as butter. It was so good. And it's annoying that like a year ago or something, I played Metroid Prime on the GameCube. So it was on the Odin. I was using Dolphin MMJR, sorry. And I had like widescreen hacks and some other stuff, so it looked beautiful, it played great. But nobody knew that they were going to actually remake Metroid Prime, like all these new textures and stuff. Anyway, now that is the end of emulation. Moving on to PC, and I'm going to look at some games I thought would be really cool to play on this device. A lot of videos show off, like, I don't know, Forza or Horizon Zero Dawn or stuff like that. When I think about this device, I love this kind of like middle ground of, so obviously stronger emulation, but good indies, and then like AA titles or just awesome games from like the past 5 or 10 years that are sort of demanding. Like, for example, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, super demanding game. Would be really cool to play that portably, looking great, but also with a decent-ish battery life, and so on. Anyway, Binary Domain is a game by Sega. It's kind of like a Gears of War style game, where you basically, all you do is fight robots. And the other gimmick it has is, I wish it was co-op, but you have like AI teammates that you can command with your voice. Like, literally, you can say stuff. It has a speech recognition thing. Lots of words it can do. It's kind of, I wonder what they could do with this kind of thing today, because this game's kind of old now. It didn't work very well, but that's a super cool, fun game to play. As is this, Metal Gear Solid. No, not Solid. Metal Gear Rising. This is something I might play. And the thought of being able to play this portably is just amazing. I only tested this for a bit and I immediately just wanted to play it all day. I forgot how incredible this game is. It's Platinum always make banger games, but like, holy crap, did they make something special here. Like, not only does it play well and the mechanics are solid, I love the little like parries you can do where you like push forward and attack and you'll parry perfectly. Oh, I just sliced his scalp off there. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's dirty. Now, GRIME is a game that isn't on the Switch, so the only way to play this portably is on PC. Now, this is a game I worked on. I wrote the music for this game, and I wanted to test it on a handheld like this because I thought that'd be... I've always wanted to see this game on a handheld. It's basically a Metroidvania with like Souls-like-ish combat. It focuses a lot on parries, in a sense, as you kind of absorb enemies, and I'll show this off later. GRIME has been out, it's going to be nearly 2 years now, actually. 2 years next month. I absolutely adored writing the music for this game, and definitely a game you should check out. It was free on the Epic Games Store recently, but I think it's ended. Here's another game I thought would be really cool to play portably, and Driver San Francisco is a game that got delisted. I'm not sure if there's an actual excuse why, but you cannot buy this game digitally anymore. You cannot, go on a platform and just buy this game. It's not possible. You have to buy a disc, and even then I think there's some complications. But a lot of people say that this game is incredible and probably the best game in the Driver series. It's one I've never played, and when I was thinking about like what can I play on a PC handheld, I thought, wow, Driver San Francisco, that's got to be an incredible game to play portably. And that also reminds me to mention the triggers have amazing travel, which are great for driving games, so I'm looking forward to playing Driver. And this is the last game. I wanted to at least show like one recent AAA game, because like when you buy a device like this, it's got the power, so you gotta test some of them. And Resident Evil 4, like, I played it earlier this year. I played it on PC, so I'm not interested in playing it again soon. But just running around in Mercenaries like this, and it wasn't even like max TDP. It was like, it might have been 15 TDP or 22, somewhere around there. I'm looking forward to when the update to AYANEO 2 comes. Sorry, the AYANEO Software, where you can like manually pick the TDP a bit more. But this ran so well, and it looks so good on the screen. I was shocked. And the RE engine is already incredible. So yeah, it honestly felt like I was playing, like, for example, a PS5 portably already, anywhere. And I had to tell myself, like, am I streaming this? Like, no, I'm playing this on an actual handheld. The AYANEO Geek 1S, I like it a lot. I really do like it a lot. And I'm looking forward to playing a lot more games on here. The only gripe I have really is that it's a little bit heavy. If you like this video, please give it a like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.